Well, good evening. This is John Bushka, and there's a picture of the Supreme Court building. And actually, in 2020, during was quiet, but that was shortly after the election. Um, Tonight, I want to talk just briefly about Social Security again, and particularly the Supreme Court opinion in 1960 called Flemming versus Nestor. And Social Security has a page on it explaining it, and I'll give you the link for that. Um, in the notes. But let me just go over a couple of things. What the opinion said was that getting your Social Security benefits that your norm that like I got this morning on online by direct deposit isn't a contractual right. It's not a property right, and the government can reduce it. Um, if there's some kind of rational basis for doing so under the due process clause. So, for example, the Social Security Trust Fund will run out of will not have enough income to support the current level of benefits by 2033, and that could creep up on us more. And you're hearing a lot about that with Musk and Trump and everything these days, and all the stories online. And some of them are over exaggerated, probably. But um, one of the things that could be one of the most obvious things that you could do is increase the limit of what FICA tax applies to. And of course, rich people don't want that. I think it's around 176,000 now of income and earned in work. After above that, it's exempt. You could increase that a lot and make the rich people pay more into it, which of course may be hard to get the current Congress to do and get Trump to do and Elon to do and so forth. But another thing you could do is means test people that are maybe better off, like me, and claim they don't really need the return, because in a sense, legally, your your regular Social Security benefit really is more like a welfare benefit. Um, so you could possibly have a law or something that looks at the income tax return and even counts things like capital gains or dividends, interest, other annuities, that kind of thing, other kinds of income, as well as just work, into how much you make a year and as an estimate as to how much wealth you have, and claim you don't need as much. That could be harmful to me, and that could happen relatively suddenly if Congress wanted to do that, and if Trump and Musk and so forth wanted to do it. They haven't talked about that. Nobody's mentioned Flemming versus Nestor yet in the media. I find it rather curious that they haven't. They have talked about a little bit about another issue, which is the fact that receiving benefits while working. And again, I'll give you the link to this page too. But receiving benefits while working until you're a full retirement age, and that age keeps going up. If you make over a certain amount, and that changes every year, they deduct $1 for every $2 that you went over the amount during the year of your annual benefit. That goes away once you're above full retirement age. So, um, but that is a way people might have had errors in the past that they could get docked for, and you've been hearing about the 10% dock, and it will go up to 100% on March 27th or something like that. People could suddenly find their benefits declining suddenly, and that if that's been overlooked in the past, and it's conceivable it could be, but some of these situations can be complicated. I know I was a substitute teacher in 2005 when it started. That could have been, but I don't think I went over anything. That could be a cause for an issue. But again, the very fact that there is a rule like that suggests that your Social Security benefit is really more like a welfare, the way it was originally conceived of in the 1930s. during the days of FDR and everything. It's more like that than it is property. It really isn't your property, your benefits, even though you paid into it while you were working. You didn't really earn them. It's really a benefit. It's supposed to be partly based on need. So I could have a problem justifying mine in the future. I've talked about my self-insurance, that if I were to lose benefits, and that would also be my retirement pension, I'm going to pay myself from my the beneficiaries part of my trust for 2 years. I'm going to announce that. It's a sort of, and somebody could challenge the legality of that, I guess, but that's what I'm going to announce. I'm going to have to explain that in a letter to the beneficiaries of the trust, and I'm going to have to mail out right about the time I finish my taxes. One of the things also, if you have a grant or trust, you file only one income tax for yourself and and the beneficiaries on your accounts. Your tax can be higher because the tax on what you got from Social Security goes up. If your total income goes up, then it goes up to the 85%. So there's a possibility you would want to reimburse yourself for that. Whether that's legal, I don't know, but probably a lot of people would do that. Grantor trusts can be complicated when your assets are commingled with those that legally own the committee, what they call the committee of beneficiaries. And again, a beneficiary of a trust is not the same thing as a beneficial owner. But in a sense, there's some similarity because the beneficiaries will eventually benefit, particularly when you die, and the whole idea that you can't distribute anything to them before you die, which is the way a lot of them are written up, and it's covered by state law, not by federal law. It's kind of counterproductive in a way because it can't be doing good for the nonprofits in the meantime. That something that really ought to be reformed. But that's just checking. Was there anything else? That's what I have for you tonight. And I just wanted to again, you need to take a look at Flemming versus Nestor, and don't be surprised if you hear it mentioned in the news suddenly. Maybe because somebody watches this video or something, but don't be surprised if you hear it in the media one of these days, because I think it's important to know about it. And I do thank you for listening.